If you've been looking to get into data analytics or wanted to be a data analyst, but you didn't know how to get into it, it's just something that you've always just been curious about, but you don't know exactly what they're doing. Or maybe you're just here to be like, what do data analysts do? Well, in this episode, we will be talking to one incredible lady who is actually a manager specializing in data analytics, which is quite cool. So if you want to learn more about this, just stick around. It's going to be amazing.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell.
Hello, beautiful family. Thank you so much for making your turn yet again to Career Guidance for High School with myself, Portia Tlamini. Today, we'll be talking to a manager who is specializing in data analytics. She's a young lady from the Val, if I'm not mistaken, and she's just been such an incredible force. We're talking about quite an incredible resume, if I do say so myself. Welcome, Sandra. Thank you so much for making time for this beautiful channel. You are looking absolutely amazing, by the way.
Thank you. We had to try and live up to your high standards.
Hey. As you know, Career Guidance for High School is a channel that I'm using to really inspire young people to get up and try and do something and dare to dream. And this is my new segment that I'm exploring, which is called Dare to Dream. And it's just just celebrating young people who are just doing anything than just sitting at home. This channel is specifically directed for high school pupils. And we definitely fit what we are talking about. Young people, you from the Val Triangle, am I correct?
I am from the Val, bred and buttered that side, high school, everything in the Val. Yeah.
And I had to start at home and really start celebrating young people who are doing incredible things. And you're one of those. Grew up in the Val, you know, the girl next door, but hey, we can't refer to you as a girl next door anymore because you...
I think I still am. Very much still a girl next door.
But you've done some really incredible things. And I think your story is one that really shows that it is possible. It is not that far. Any person can achieve it. And, you know, we went down I went in with just describing you. And because I know you, it's easier for me to go into detail about you. But if you were to, you know, introduce yourself to my family and tell them who you are, what you do, and just introduce your beautiful self to my world.
I would introduce myself as a mother. So I am a mother to an incredible 4-year-old, Tiamo. She's the reason why we do what we do, or why I do what I do. And professionally, I am a manager. I'm a manager in consulting. So I specialize in data analytics or data science. I'm pushing. I am busy trying to achieve all of these dreams that I hope to accomplish one day. I am a sister. I have 2 siblings. I don't know. I feel a bit nervous. I don't know why, but yeah.
No, I should be the one that's nervous here. Like I'm literally interviewing people in such high profiles. It's crazy. And I have this Val pride in me. So when I get to interview people from Val, like there's like that extra star and extra enlightenment that look, we are doing this thing and it's beautiful to experience. So, you know, so I want us to just step back a little and get to know the young you, you know, back in high school. What type of person were you? What type of extramural activities were you into? You know, who was Sandra back in, let's say, grade 9? Who was Sandra back in grade 9?
So in grade 9, I didn't have the confidence that I have now. So like not too shy, but like shy, not as extroverted as I am now. I was a hockey player. I played hockey throughout my high school. I used to row, guys. I used to love rowing. So yes, I'm a Black person who knows how to swim. So I used to row. Grade 9. So I've got a very strong Christian background as well. So grade 9, I think I was running Teens for Jesus. That's what I used to do during breaks. As a young pre-Changana there.
We've all been through that phase.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's me in grade 9. So yeah, a young girl, passionate about Christ, still very shy. I don't think I was as extroverted as I am now. Hockey player, and I was a rower. Um, yeah. And
And
I
as
was
we
in
know,
general smart high school at the time, which
you were
was
smarty as well.
I'm a smarty, which was literally the best high school to be in at the
I
time.
beg to differ there because I went to Riverside
Uh,
High. So
no, of
I
course
beg
you're going to beg to differ, but we've got all the accolades to prove it. I mean, you know
we're not
that.
gonna go into that, okay? We are not gonna explore the Riverside versus Smarts war. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do it there.
Because there's
Look, you
nothing to
mentioned that
explore.
you mentioned that you did hockey and you were fairly good. You were rowing, you were doing the swimming and all those difficult things that most of us couldn't do back then. But what I'm trying to link right now in the questions that I'm asking you is I'm trying to find out the grade 9 student, hockey, having fun, a little shy, as you mentioned, and to transitioning into your subject choices. Let's get there. Who helped you with those subject choices? Who did you know exactly what you wanted to get into when you were in grade 9? Was it like let me see how this is going to play out? Like, what subjects did you do,
Yeah.
firstly? And how did you get to choosing those subjects?
Okay, so I was lucky in that I've got an older brother who is 2 years older than me. So we practically grew up together. So by the time I got to grade 9, I had the advantage of having him in grade 11. So he had done the subject choice, so I had that advantage. I was passionate about maths. I'm a numbers person. I mean, to this day, the work that I do is still within the maths faculty. So I knew that whatever it is that I wanted to do had to be in maths. And I think at the time I was convinced I wanted to become a microbiologist. So that is literally all I wanted.
Girl was dreaming big. God.
I think that is literally all I wanted. But yeah, so the person who helped me choose my subject was my brother. And I ended up choosing math, science. I chose life science, which is biology, and I chose IT, which I must admit was a replica of what my brother was doing. So, I mean, the math and the math science and the biology made sense. Computer science or IT at the time, I didn't know much about it, but he was doing it and he liked it, and you needed to be good at maths to do it. So it just made sense for me to just join in that light.
You mentioned that you were shy and you had an older brother at school.
Yes.
In most cases, when the story is like that, the girl child, the younger one, is usually in a lot of trouble. So what was your relationship like with your teachers at school? What type of were you a little mischievous? Was he the mischievous one? What was the story there?
So I think we have similar personalities. We both not very mischievous. I mean, look, we don't have a clean track record. There are scandals here and there, but I think generally I'm very well behaved kids, and I do put quotations around it. Relationship with my kids, sorry, with my teachers. Very much, I mean, you could easily refer to me as a teacher's pet. I think I just had that type of relationship with my teachers, where I think was generally a good relationships. And I carried that throughout. Not a teacher's pet one, but just having good relationships with my, because I think it's important. I think it's important that they know you. It's important that your teachers have an understanding of your background, because when anything shifts in your environment, it's easier for them to pick it out and help you from it. Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. Because the reason I was asking you that question is because I'm also trying to celebrate our teachers as well, who really did help us get us to where we are. I think teachers are down, they look down on and they're not celebrated
Absolutely.
as much as they should. When you actually look at it, most literally all the professions have been through their hands. And I think we should add more emphasis on their responsibility that they've really, you know, they really shaped us. Some of us were shaped by our teachers. You know, I was shaped by my principal, who was Mr. Lakla, and he passed on not so long ago. But we were shaped by such people who believed in us when there was kind of no one to believe in us because we were shy and quiet and we didn't really, you know, express.
I mean, to this day, I honestly look back on Mrs. Labastachny, Mrs. Stratum, and I always try to reach out to the both of them because, honest to God, I mean, the work that I still do to them, I strongly believe it's principles that they instilled way back when, right, in grade 10, around how to think about things, you know, how to achieve your own goals, and absolutely, we don't celebrate teachers enough.
We don't celebrate teachers enough. Thank you so much. I had to take a few seconds to just celebrate our teachers out there. They're doing incredible work. High five to all of them.
Absolutely.
You know, now we're growing into this thing. So now you in matric, right? And here you are. Did you know what university you wanted to go to? What was the decision like? Why? Because I know you studied at NW and you took it fine, and I think you did your honors as well with NW. So now she did this.
I ran away after undergrad.
So you want to know that just ran away after it. But you know, what I'm specifically alluding to is your choice for NW, or choosing any specific university, which you went to NW. How did you get to that? You said you had an older brother who was helping you with choosing the subjects. Was he also helping you with the university to go to, the APS score, you know, all those little nitty gritties that they tell us in high school, but we don't appreciate them the way we're supposed to? So how was that transition? How did you, you know, go about the selection of which university, which course, and an end?
So like by that time my brother was away, so I was a one-man show then. So I did a lot of open days. So I did a lot of open days, went to different universities to try to figure out what is it that I actually wanted to do. And I remember going to UP for an open day, and I'm just like, I want to see microbiology, I want to see what they do, and then I went, and then I saw what they did, and I was like, no, that is not what I want to do. That is not what I want to do. Then I thought, okay, chemical engineering, maybe we could do that. And I've always liked reading up. I've always wanted to figure out, you know, like what's the job market like? You know, am I going to get a job? And then I think at the time there were so many people studying chemical engineering that there were projections that, you know, you are going to struggle in getting a job. So that was no longer viable. And in the midst of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, there's a guy who I appreciate immensely to this day, Vincent Keswa. I don't know if you know him. He's also from Deval. Also quite a very, very incredible, also doing quite well in his career. But he came to SMATS, so he was one of those ambassadors, and he also just loves high school people. So he came to SMATS, and he was speaking during the assembly. He said, "Do you love maths?" I was like, "Yes," you know. Introduced us to these courses, which was BMI, which was maths focused. So if you love maths, there was a section within where you love maths and IT, then you could do data mining. And I thought that's what I wanted to do because it just really spoke to what I loved doing, right? So I love maths, and I knew that I wanted to do something in maths. And that's how I literally chose Botch. That's how I literally chose what I wanted to do, was through him. And I obviously, after that, I had a number of engagements with him. He helped me apply at Northwest University, apply for a bursary, you know. So by the time I went into 2010, which is my first year in university, I knew what my plan was. Obviously, the plan didn't go as expected. I think I lost my bursary that year on that month when we got our results. But yes, that was the decision making there.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And you already touched on my next question, really, and which was just surviving tertiary. We're growing here. We're growing with your story. Surviving tertiary. And those struggles that we never share, they see our degrees, which is
Yeah.
beautiful, but
Yeah.
they don't know the late nights. They don't know the
Absolutely.
financial struggles. They don't know what it's like to be at the SRC office because you can't pay for your tuition fees. And in your case, the bursary happened. And how did you how did you survive those gruesome
Oh,
but
guys.
really well shaping years of your career?
It's like, and I think people just don't appreciate it. So, like I said, so I'm there January. I had never, before matric, I had never gotten less than 85 for maths. So
Sure.
I was, but here I am, final
Cut
maths
from a
results are
different
out.
cloth. Carry on.
Yeah, results are out. I got 68 for math, and I needed 70 for me to secure my bursary. So now I lose my bursary. And I'm forever thankful for losing my bursary now, which is a very funny thing. But it's one of those things that I look back on and I can't thank God enough for. Yeah, so it then became a different struggle, right? But luckily I am from a middle class family, so my dad was able to help cover with some of the fees, and yeah, some of it we had to like really struggle throughout. And that's part of the reason why I couldn't do my honors at that time, because I mean, if you just want to get the bare minimum and go into the workplace, and then you'll find yourself and post that. But I think varsity as a whole was hard. It was lots of late nights. I was a student that loved helping other students, so that means that my extramural included helping students during the day, and during at night I would then be studying, which is part of the reasons why I appreciate lecturers and teachers as well, because even during that time, because then I would miss my classes, right? So I'd miss classes during the day, helping everybody to try get registered, trying to get people to get bursaries, whatever financial aids that exist within the university systems themselves. And at night I need to study. So that also meant that I needed to have good relationships with my lecturers, so that when I am busy at night studying, I know exactly what the class covered during the day. So I mean, yeah, I mean it was a long couple of years, but completely worth it. With all the struggles, with all the the sleepless nights. So yeah, completely loved it.
I love that you touched on, look, it was difficult, but you learned some really important life skills in those difficulties that you were going through. Interpersonal skills, how to build relationships, and those are the type of skills that you have to learn if you're going to go into corporate. And I have to mention that you were also a part of this student leadership. You just skipped over that like that was nothing. And that was something that was quite incredible, because it just shows the willpower that you have to take that first step to really put yourself out there and to give yourself a chance, if I may put it that way.
Yes, absolutely. And you need to be willing to put in the work. I always maintain that, and I will say this on record, that I think a huge part of my journey has been God's grace, has been the opportunities that God had given me. But God gives you the opportunities, but you have to show up for them. Hey,
Yes.
You must show up for them. You must put in the work for it. You absolutely need to. If it means not sleeping, you don't sleep. And because I also just believe you're also as good as your last work, right? Whatever you submit, whatever that opportunity is, you just have to make sure you make the best version of yourself on that opportunity, so that even when it closes, you also don't look back and say, oh my goodness, I should have done something differently. And I think even with the SRC, it was just that showing up for it and making sure that when I finished, I had taken everything from it. You know, I had learned all the different lessons that, because it was a lot as well. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I think to this day, it has helped shape me. It has helped shape me in my career. The discussions, negotiations. It's like the smaller things, right? So by the time I left varsity, I knew what it meant to like tap up an email to the rector, tap up an email to the vice chancellor, tap up an email to, you know, like head of finance when we're asking for bursaries. And but so by the time I left varsity and now I'm in corporate and I need to type a mail to my boss, I know how that looks like. Right? It's not my first email. And people, it's such a small thing, but we overlook it, right? And I see it because I still work with graduates, and we still hire graduates, we still interview graduates. These are small skills that people actually just don't have because you don't have the exposure to it.
That is true. That is true. So you see all these little activities for my family out there, take them seriously, show up for them and put your best foot forward in all that you do. I love that what you just said, you're only as good as your last work.
Absolutely.
Always. So put it always. All right. So now we're jumping to the juicy part, and I think everyone who's going to be watching, or who is watching, is going to be interested in this part. So now here you are. You've got your degree, your first job. I don't even know. Let's start. Dude, the way it's so quick and so amazing. I don't even know where exactly to start. So let me calm myself down and start in the beginning, where you get your first job with a big company, where you won your first award. My soul. Let's talk about that journey and growing and how you got the opportunity and like what was it like?
So yeah, it was insane. Like it was insane because it was probably on my second year of working. So I'm a hard worker. So I literally, like I said, everything that you do, you try your best, right? And you give your best. And so I'm in holiday in January. At this time I'm working at MultiChoice. Okay. And my boss says to me, dude, you need to come back to work. I'm on holiday, yo. No. You've been nominated as one of our best analysts. And you need to submit your work to these people, right? And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's like, year one, dude. Yeah, so I went back to work. It was January. I went back to work. We went through a number of, it was a very what is the word, vigorous process where you needed to keep submitting so it was based on projects that I had done the year before at MultiChoice. Projects that, so obviously I'm a data analyst, so you work with data and to help the organization run, right? So what we used to do was I don't know how much time do we have. Maybe let me just spend 2 minutes just to give context.
Okay.
So I used to work for the contact center within MultiChoice. So this is everybody. Whenever something goes wrong with your DSTV, you would you call in, you walk in, you know, and what we would then do is we would try to reduce the number of times people actually had to contact DSTV, and we did that through data. So the more we understood why people were contacting MultiChoice, then we started becoming proactive, right? So if I knew, like for example, if we look at load shedding, which is one of the case studies that I won the prizes for, if we look at load shedding, every time, back then load shedding had just started, so every time when electricity will come back up, our decoders would not start properly, right? Because it was full. Yeah, and that's things that we picked up through data. And then we put in a measure where when the electricity comes back up, then they would send through signals to the decoders that you don't have to call in. So that then reduced the number of people that called in. And I think to this day they still do the same thing because we don't struggle. So and that was done through data. So yeah, we went through that process where we would submit different case studies, we'd send questions, we'd answer them, and yeah, it was about 6 months. Then eventually made it to the finals, which were in the UK. When you get to the UK, now you must present your work. Yeah,
I need to stop you there. You're a girl from Val talking about these things,
dude,
guys. It's
dude, it was
I
insane.
do this because I know it's possible. Carry on, my
Yes.
sister. So now we're in UK.
I am the girl from the Val who had never literally, I think at the time, I did have a passport, but I'd never left Africa.
Sure.
Yeah, here I am. I am right in London. It was amazing. It was insane. That was my first international trip. Yeah, it was insane. In London, presenting to a bunch of people that have been in the industry for like 20 years. And I'm there knowing, hi, I'm Sandra, and I've been working for 2 years.
What?
Even then, I'm like rounding up because I don't want to go. I've been working for 18 months.
Like what? 1 year and 6 months? No.
No. Even then, I'm like rounding up. But yeah, we were literally competing with people that had been in the industry for 10, 15 years. It's insane. It's insane. So we there. We present day one. I think we were one of the first categories to go through. So it was a bunch of us. Everybody had been nominated for a different category. So I go there, we present. I do my whole thing.
Yes.
And it's the night ceremonies. There's the night ceremony. Now they announce the winners. And yeah, best contact center for EMEA goes to Sandra. I'm like, what?
What?
It was insane. It was an out-of-body experience. And it was such a validation of my boss, my first boss, Roland Naidu, who I love immensely, used to say, Sandra, if you work hard, the world will be your oyster. Work hard, the world is your oyster. Work hard. And that validates that. It says all of it was worth it. The long hours, the long nights, it's all worth it. Just keep trying, keep doing it, keep showing up. And also Multitrust is also such a beautiful company to work for because you would, whatever they would let you lead it, right? So if you wanted to like go, okay, I want to figure out what are insights in this, and you work there and you go, boss, I think I've got insights, hear me out, here are the data patterns, and this is what I'm discovering. Then they give you the platform for you to show it. So everything then becomes worth it. And that then becomes the way I think going forward, that keep working hard and these opportunities will come presenting themselves. So because I then won there, then I needed to compete to the rest of the world, right?
Yeah.
There was Asia, there was, I think, the US, and everybody had won there. So now I fast forward, I'm in November, it's in November, I'm in Las Vegas.
Yay.
I'm in the US, I'm in Las Vegas, and I am competing with everybody that had won in the different regions. And we win again. And we win again, this time taking the world title. It was an insane experience. And it was just a validation that they all of our dreams are valid. Our dreams are valid. Yes. Our dreams are valid. Keep chasing them. Nothing is out of our reach. Nothing is out of our reach. And yeah, to this day, I'm still chasing new dreams. I'm still chasing new things. And yeah, we still hope to make marks in the whole world. Yeah.
I think you're making your mark, and I had to celebrate you. I think even when I sent you the invitation, I told you like you are perfect for this segment, because it really is dare to dream. A girl from Val getting so far to winning 2 awards, to winning a world title, Sandra, like a whole world title. It's quite incredible, and it's all because of hard work, consistency, and making sure that the quality of work that you produce consistently is very, very up to notch, and it speaks for you. And that's what the channel is about. It's about saying, look, you have those avenues to start practicing these skills. It can be at school, you can just be communicating with your teachers, it could be in tertiary. I mean, you mentioned that I mentioned you were in the SRC. and the little interpersonal skills that you learned there, and just putting them all together, and just allowing just give me a second. I'm not exactly sure what happened in my background there, but just where is it? There we go. There we go. Now bring my trip pictures. There we go. Just allowing yourself to really just dare to dream. That's
Absolutely.
it.
And one of the experiences, because all it was, right, like going out and presenting with somebody from the US, because we've got this mentality that because we're in Africa, or because we're in a little town called the Val, we're so far off from what the world is actually doing. And I think the fact that one could stand there shoulder to shoulder with somebody that's in the US, and just to show this is my work, and we still beat them, just shows that we're not far off from what the world is producing, right? Our standards are still valid. We're still able to come up on top with our own standards. So, and that I mean, we've got the world standard.
We're world class, and I think you will prove that we are world class. Our dreams are world class. If I'm gonna push it a little.
Absolutely, no, hundreds, and yeah, there's nothing that we cannot achieve. I believe there's nothing we cannot achieve. And look, personally, I'm coming for Africa. So yeah, we're coming. Watch out, we're coming for Africa. Yeah.
I love that. Now let's just transition. I mean, all these accolades have added to you being a manager who literally specifically specializes in data analytics. That's quite incredible. We need to mention this. I have to. It's a Black woman, in who has a BSc, and is specializing in data analytics.
Yeah.
That's quite incredible, Sandra. I think if no one has ever praised you, I'm here for all of that. Now let's talk about your job now. What does your current job now? Let's ask it this way. What is the most stressful day like?
So my stressful days every day. Stressful days every day. So I'm in consulting. So that means that I have multiple clients at a time, most of the time. So a day start the day with the team always, just to figure out who's doing what, how each project is coming along, what are the stakeholders saying, if they had meetings the previous day and I wasn't able to attend it, then just figure out what the mood is like, and where do we need to rescue clients, where the conversations aren't going as planned, and where, if the projects are tracking the way we want them to track. So that's I start off my day like that every single day. Then after that, then I have then have the individual discussions with clients, which we call in a form of stand-ups. I'm sure people that are in corporate, especially after the COVID year, we've heard, they know exactly what stand-ups are, which is 15 minutes catch up with all the clients just to figure out if everybody's happy. That is probably, we're now at 11 o'clock. Then I start my own work, right? Because I mean, there's managing, and then there's actual projects that needs to be delivered.
That needs to be done, yeah.
that needs to be done, then yeah, we push until we're done. Consulting is typically a very stressful environment because, I mean, if you hire someone to come help your team, firstly, I'm there on a contract, so I'm here even 3-4 months contract to do what people usually do in a year or much longer. So there we always, it's a very time sensitive environment where you bill per hour, and because you bill per hour, girl, you must deliver.
Like we can't be seen on your phone there, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a typically stressful environment, but I love it. I love it. I learn every single day. Every single day there's something I don't know. And every single day there's something that I get out knowing, right? So it's always insane. Also you learn, you meet so many different people all the time. That you must either impress or just acquaint with. Yeah, I love it. I love consulting. I've been in it for the last, I think, 5 years. Yeah, and it's probably going to be something that I do for a lifetime.
There has to be a balance between work, and you just mentioned that it's fast paced, it's quite stressful, and it is time driven. And on the other side, you still need to be a mom to a 4-year-old. Because 4-year-olds are insanely busy. They're touching this, they are grabbing that, they're asking questions. And also on top of that, you're still a sister, you're still a friend, you're still a church mate. How do you balance that life? What has been your mechanism or mantra to making sure that everything is nicely balanced?
Yeah. So I think, look, I've been fortunate just to have, and I mean, I think I was saying this on Facebook the other day as well. I have not been the greatest at it, because I mean, I think up until now I was at the early stages of my career, just trying to build that. And last year I was quite intentional, or the last 2 years before COVID hit, quite intentional with my time, right? So Tuesdays and Thursdays used to be my daughter's swimming classes, right? Or her extramural activities. So I would block out my diary literally, from 3:00. I'm not taking any other meetings. I'm not involved with anybody else. It's my time blocked out of my diary. And when I'm with my daughter, I would always make sure that I'm 100% present, right? So I'm present here. I'm not trying to be on my phone, trying to answer work calls. I'm here with her, so that when I switch off from her at 7 or 8 o'clock to switch back to my laptop, then I'm there again. So those are the small things that I used to be quite intentional about. Obviously Sundays would be church time. Also quite intentional about that time. But like I said, I think I was just also at a stage where I knew that I'm building a foundation. A bulk of my time needs to go to work, because I'm not trying to do that when I'm 35. I'm not trying to do that when I'm 33. I'm trying to make sure that if this foundation is correct, then I don't have to do it much later. So in as much as I was quite intentional with my time, or I'm quite intentional with my time on how I spend it with my daughter, with my friends or family, I was also quite aware that I am in the foundation of my career, and it's not always going to be this way. And obviously as time goes on, then you start shifting times a bit better. I'm not sure if I've answered you.
You did. No, you did. You talked about something that's very important, and which is the importance of your 20s, if I may put it that way, and being intentional about what you're actually doing. And the reason I say it's important, when I did my surveys with the young people who agreed to be part of my survey, and these are like grade 8, grade 9s, I avoided grade 10 to grade 12 because they've already selected their subjects. So there's not much I can do there. But with grade 8s and grade 9s, they still have that opportunity to choose the subjects that they're going to go into and the possible careers that they can go into. When I asked them about what do you do during the day, like what is your typical day like, when they describe it, you can see that muscle is not there, and they're not even trying to develop it early. And I still feel like at that age, that's like the right time to actually start developing that muscle, because it becomes so much easier when you grow older. And you touched on that you had to be intentional. You had to really, be present in the little things that you're doing. So if you're with your family, be present. School, be present. You were serving, be present. You were a leader, be present. And take it all in, and just allow yourself to really just budget your time, work at a schedule that works, and make sure that you're intentional. And I love that. I love that you had to be intentional, because a bulk of my young subscribers are not that intentional about it.
And it's so unfortunate. And I often look at my own path, right? Where I think in high school, varsity, I was an average student, right? So, high school, I was average.
8. We'll come back to that, Carrie.
So I've always been like I've been phenomenal with maths and science, right? But everything else, look, it was not like, and that was at my own path, right? Where I think in high school, varsity, I was an average student, right? So, high school, I was average.
8. We'll come back to that, Carrie.
So I've always been like I've been phenomenal with maths and science, right? But everything else, look, it was not like, and that was such a terrible mentality to have. Because then I'll be good at the things that I'm good at, and mediocre or just average on the things that I could have done so much better at. And with the mentality, so if I carried this mentality and I went back to grade 9 and I understood what excellence was, and I understood what working hard meant, and I understood like what it meant to reap from your rewards, guys, I would be, I would have done it so much more different. I would have done it so much more different. And the things I would have done differently was just in the small things, right? 100% in your books, give it your all every single time. Every single time. Every single time. Read books, read, 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 and we it's such a small thing that we take for granted, but read, it opens up your mind so much. It opens up even your vocab, it opens up how you write, it opens up so much more, and even the extramural activities. Right now as an adult, I need to work extra hard to bring back the extramural activities, the hobbies that are satisfying to me, not to my daughter, not my family, not to my friends, but to me as an individual. And those are the small habits that I wished I had carried through throughout my entire adulthood, so that I didn't have to try and correct mistakes from back then.
That's the reason why this exists, is because you get to a point where you realize that this whole journey could have been done differently if we had someone who was older, who was able to share that, look, this is what it really takes to make it. And it becomes easier if you started it earlier.
Absolutely. Look, right now we're all trying to chase to become part of the 1%, right? And for you to become part of the 1%, you must do what the 1% is doing.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
It doesn't fall like manna from heaven.
No,
yeah.
No, absolutely. For you to get there, you must put in the work. You must absolutely put in the work. You must also, and I can't emphasize having a belief system as probably one of the most biggest things. I always observe the people that are around me. Like the other day, I was with my mentor, who just recently started mentoring me, and my question to him was like, dude, but how did you do it? Because how are you doing it? First thing he said was, I'm a God-fearing man. That's the first thing he said, and that stuck stuck with me, that you need to have someone, in my instance is Christ, that will build your character, that will literally help you have your principles in set, because then it also just becomes difficult for you to get to the 1% if you don't even have your principles in check. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. You need to have that base. Otherwise, yeah, it becomes tricky. It
Look,
becomes
Sandra,
tricky. And honestly, in all of my experience, every single person I've met have a very stern understanding of who they are.
yeah, that's beautiful. Sandra, you have been an absolute cool spot. Thank you so much for availing yourself to share your story, to inspire young people and to inspire my viewers as well, to show them dare to dream. It is absolutely possible. If Sandra did it from the Val Triangle, it is possible. It is possible to put your best foot forward and make things happen.
Yes. Yes. Go take over the world. We must.
Go over the world. I love it. I love it. But from my side, I have to say, I always close my shows like this by saying that the dreams that you want or the career path that you want does not just happen. You work for it, and we're here to help you, to guide you, and to make sure that you do achieve those dreams. Dare to dream. From my side is God bless. Till next video.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell.